Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is the 10th of October. I'm traveling, so you're getting this on a little different time than normally. But still, let's have a look at S&P 500. New all-time highs yesterday in the US session, above 5,767, likely to push above 5,800. I think we could see 58.25, 58.60, key support 56.74. The Nasdaq 100 also pushed higher, but not an all-time high, not just yet, but it closed above 20,211. The key resistance area there. We are in a bullish trend, also supported by positive sentiment on the RSI. I think we will see a push higher here in the coming days towards 20,675. That could be tested to previous all-time highs. Key support 19,622. EUROSTOXX 50 also higher yesterday, closed almost 0.7% higher, just below the 49.86 level. But I think we'll see it pushing higher in the coming days. And if we're just looking at the EU50 stock, the EU50 CFD, you can see how it's pushed higher here. I think we will see it pushing above 5,000 and also potentially taking out that little peak here, pushing towards 5,093, maybe even higher. On the German DAX index, also a very good day yesterday. We actually pushed higher above 19,000 and has confirmed bullish trend despite having divergence here on the RSI. We are still seeing some divergence there, but if we can have it close above 60 threshold, then we should be back in business, and it actually did. And I think we'll see it pushing higher, and also think it could take out 19,500, potential up to 19,713. The Amsterdam index that also had a fairly good day yesterday. It still holds itself above 908, and I think it could push towards the 927 key resistance in the coming days, and that could also result in RSI closing above 60 threshold, meaning that we will then be in a bullish trend, probably close above 60 threshold before it actually takes out 927. So that will indicate it will take out 927 if it takes out or closes above 60 threshold, and then we are pushing towards previous highs around 950. CAC index struggling a little bit, did bounce a little bit, however, and I think it will bounce here in the next coming days above 100 moving average, but key strong resistance here just around 77.25, 77.50, where we have the 200 moving average giving some adding to the resistance level. The Swiss market closed just below 12,120 yesterday. Well, actually, I stand corrected. It closed just a few cents above it, and I think we'll see it pushing higher here in the next couple of days towards 12,250, which is a really key strong resistance. But if we also get the RSI to close back above 60 threshold, then it could push higher in the coming weeks. Euro dollar was again on the move yesterday session and has continued early this morning. It actually closed below 109.48, 940 support, a key strong support, and the 786 retracement of this uptrend there, just around 109.50. Currently still in the cloud and also above the 100 moving average, but we have the RSI below 40, meaning we're in a negative sentiment, indicating we could see a push down to 109, 108. 80, where we have the 200 moving average also adding to the support. So keep an eye on that yesterday. I think it could occur that we dip down to there, and then I think we will see a bounce. However, if we see euro dollar moving back above 110, then we could see a bounce up towards 111. Euro sterling Euro sterling, after being rejected, we talked about it yesterday, after being rejected at 84, couldn't get back up there. I think we'll see it resuming downtrend towards 83.40, and also 83 could be tested here in coming days. However, if it moves back above 84 and a change, 84.05, then I think we could see this peak here being challenged and maybe also pushing a little bit higher. But I lean to the downside for those reasons. Cable below the 786 retracement of this leg up there, and just around the 55 moving average, and the RSI is still in a positive sentiment and still above 40. If it does close below 40 threshold, well, then we could see a push to 130 and most likely lower if that scenario plays out on the RSI. The yen pairs, and here we have dollar yen that is currently, as I'm recording this, it's testing the resistance at 149.40, actually a little bit above, just around that level there. If it does close above, well, I think we could see a push up towards 151.85. We are in a positive sentiment without divergence, indicating that is in the cards. However, the 100 moving average coming down and the 200 moving average lying flat there will give some strong overhead resistance on also the upper part of the cloud area. So it could be a spike up and then a setback. If we're seeing a dollar yen moving back below 147.20, a downtrend is likely to resume. On the euro yen, slowly crawling higher towards 164. If it does close above, well, then we are likely to see 164 is taken out. The key here could be that also, or most likely, is the RSI. Will it close above 60 threshold or not? If it doesn't, and it's being rejected at 60 threshold, and the euro yen pair is rejected at 164, then we could see a setback towards 161 and a break below, especially a close below. Downtrend is likely to resume. So we are actually a crossroad. We are on the knife's edge here at the moment with euro yen. So keep an eye on those levels there. On Aussie yen, well, it can't really make its mind up. Really strong overhead resistance with apparently the 100 moving average really giving it a hard time pushing higher. We are in a positive sentiment. There's slight divergence, and if it can't get up and take out 101.77, well, then we could see it slide back, and 98 is key support. If it takes out that, then a downtrend likely to resume. But I think it will have another go at these levels up here, and then it could push towards 102, 102.5. Sterling yen is a little bit frustrating also. What will it do? I mean, sometimes the picture is not that clear. However, here we have the positive sentiment on the RSI, but there is a little bit of divergence. You can see higher closing prices here, but lower value. So it's not really supporting that it will break out and above 196. But if it does, well, then there is room up to 190, 190.5, and 200. If it slides back below the 193, well, downtrend could resume with a push down to around 190, 189. Aussie dollar finding support here at the 55 moving average. I did yesterday and bouncing a little bit today. Still a risk down to the 786 retracement at 66.90. But we have the RSI still holding on above 40 threshold. If it does stay above that and it doesn't close below, well, then we could see a bounce on the Aussie dollar. But there's still a risk to spike down to this level, and then I think we'll see a bounce on Aussie dollar. When we have a bottom in place, then we can try to guesstimate how much the bounce, but a bounce up to at least a 68 should be in the cards. Dollar Canada, after breaking above 136.47, it's on the move to the 138.2 projection of this correction phase there at 137.35. Could push higher. There's no divergence on the RSI, which is showing positive sentiment. We are above the cloud. I think we could see it push towards the 137.88 and 138 possibly. If it slides back and closes below 136.45, then we could see it dropping back to 136. Sterling Canada, well, it is above the lower rising trend line after bouncing the last few days, and I think it could continue in the next couple of days. This bounce again, it is well below. It's well below. It is well above 176.80, which is key support. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I'm in a different time, so I'm sorry about that. Euro-Swiss is still very boring. It is still trading in this more and more narrow range and forming this triangle-like pattern. I want to see a breakout of it. We talked about it for so many days now. And it should be confirmed by a break above 95, but it could be a bit of a struggle where we have the 100 moving average coming down here, and the 200 more or less flat, slightly rising, and at 55 is still below that. If it breaks out to the downside, well, then we could see 93 being taken out. Dollar Swiss, well, Dollar Swiss is pausing a little bit here at the 61.8 retracement of the last leg down here at just above 86. We are still seeing RSI. Is it above 60 threshold? No, it's not, meaning it is still in a negative sentiment. It really needs to close above 60 threshold for a positive sentiment and for dollar Swiss to push higher. If it slides back lower and takes out 85.30, then a downtrend is likely to resume. You can see the 55 moving average trying to drag it down there. So let's see if that will that scenario will play out. The dollar index pushing higher. Above 102.61. I think it could push higher here in the coming days towards the 161.8 projection at 103.07. That also supports the picture of euro dollar pushing a little bit or sliding a little bit lower. Gold spot is still holding on above 2600 with a few cents and just above the 61.8 retracement, which is also around 2600 and above the lower rising trend line. There were no divergence on the RSI indicating we are likely to see higher highs on gold. This is merely just a correction. Key question is how deep will it be? If it takes out 2600, we could see it sliding lower to the 786 retracement at 2576. Key support 25.46. If it breaks below that, well, then suddenly we could be looking at 2500 and 24.70. But I think we will bounce, and if it moves back above 26.35, then I think uptrend will resume with a potential towards and higher above 2700. The silver. Well, it is finding support. Let's zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit hard to say. I've chosen a wrong color there, but it is just around the 786 retracement of this little leg up there. And if we also expand it to there, we can see, and if I then add the 38.2, which is not there, but it was around 50% of that uptrend. So it is finding a little bit support there. There's still risk down to 29.80, 29.70 around that level, which is the 61.8 of this entire uptrend there, and the key support. However, if we move back above $31, well, then I think we will see uptrend resuming higher. On the copper, that is also in a correction phase, finding support here around 440, which is just around the 50%. I think we could still see it below towards the 61.8 retracement at 432.70, 60 around that level. RSI is still only around 50, so there is potential to dip down there, and then I think we will see a bounce in copper. Crude oil has bounced after dipping below supports here. WTI dipping below support at 72.40.41, which is with a 50% correction of this massive rally over a very short period of time. We have positive sentiment on the RSI, and we will see this bounce. So I think we could see it trying to push higher towards the 77.60 level, maybe even higher, maybe even up to around $80. If it takes out the lows from yesterday at 73.30, expect sell-off down to around 70, possibly lower to 69, and maybe even lower than that. Here we have the Brent crude oil also spiked below support. and then bounced, and also positive sentiment on the RSI. Could see Brent crawling towards previous peak and resistance just around 81.50, 81.58 here in the coming days. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, well, then expect a correction down to around 72.30. The US 10-year Treasury yields is still moving higher. We didn't get a top in place and a correction, so it was a very small one indeed. And I think we could see it pushing higher towards a 414 here in the coming days, where we have a little bit of resistance. We also have the 786 retracement at this falling wedge-like pattern. And then I think we will see a bit of a correction. We are in a positive sentiment. We are showing positive sentiment on the RSI. There's no divergence, so a little bit of a correction and then a push higher is in the cards. On the 2-year, let's see if I can find it. On the 2-year, also pushing higher. I think we will test the 406 resistance, which is the peak from here, and where it also broke through here. I think we could see a test of that fairly shortly, and then I think we will see a little bit of a correction. All right, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm in a different time zone, and I hope the sound is okay. I don't have my normal studio microphone with me. Have a nice day. Talk to you again.